Good evening. Good evening. Okay, tonight is the regular meeting of the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education for March 27th, 2023. Let's get to my next page here. Yes, can we please have a roll call?
Mr. Blundo.
Here.
Mrs. Varghese.
Here.
Dr. Blundy.
Here.
Ms. Calderon.
Here.
Mr. Luisi. Mrs. Martin.
Here.
Mr. Stankus.
Here.
Ms. Stephens.
Here.
Mr. Weaver.
Here.
Can you please all join me in a salute to the flag? Where is the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Not exactly sure how we're coming across on the internet tonight. We had some lighting issues. We apologize. The lights were still set for the play, and I know our video folks are doing their best to get some streaming, but hopefully you can at least hear our discussion. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by mailing copies of said notice to the record, filing copies of said notice with the municipal clerks of Hillsdale, Montvale, Rivervale, and Woodcliff Lake, and publishing said notice in the record on August 15th, 2022. Before we continue with the agenda for tonight, we'd like to have a moment of silence out of respect for the victims and community of the Covenant School in Nashville and for all victims of school violence throughout our country. Thank you. Okay, routine matters. Ms. Bellotti, a report?
Thank you. First, I want to congratulate Olivia, one of our student reps. I found out that she was accepted into New Jersey All-State Orchestra last week, so congratulations, Olivia. I also want to thank our special education team, our director, Eva Merck, and our special education program supervisor, Tara Flannery, are consistently evaluating our programs and looking at the opportunities that are afforded to our students. They were recently able to determine that we will be able to expand our offered services to include a specialized self-contained program underneath our LLD umbrella. The program will serve our most academically needy students here in their home district and will be housed at Hills. I know that the staff and students at Hills will welcome these new 9th grade students and will open numerous opportunities for the students to participate within our school community. I also want to thank Dr. Backenheimer and Ms. Graziano and Dr. Russo, who are putting together a curriculum update that they will be presenting in a few minutes. As you know, we had a humanities update last month, and we have a series of updates scheduled so that the board and the public can hear highlights of all the great things, the new and innovative programs and curriculum items that we have in store for this year and next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Yas, you're going to give a bond refunding hearing report?
That is correct. At the last meeting, we had the first reading of the refunding, the bond refunding ordinance. Basically, a refunding is a refinancing, very similar to your home. So the board's proposing to refinance the callable tax-exempt bonds at a lower bond interest rate to produce tax savings from debt service portion of your tax bill. There is one series remaining from a previous referendum. The bond series will expire in the 2028-2029 school year. The original term cannot be shortened or lengthened in this refunding. The bond refunding ordinance allows the board to sell the bonds at any time. The sale must realize 3% or greater net savings. Otherwise, the bonds cannot be sold, and another time to go to market would need to be scheduled. So we will follow the advice of our financial advisor. Any questions from anyone? So tonight we have a second reading, so this allows us to go out to sell the bonds at the appropriate time. And hopefully we'll realize a greater than 3% net savings.
Thank you, yes. Okay, we have our student reports. Olivia from Pascack Hills.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Olivia G., and today I'll be presenting the Pascack Hills Student Report for the month of March. For our first classroom item, earlier in March, the Pascack Valley Regional High School District celebrated the National Foreign Language Week, or NFLW. The goal of this project is to make the United States aware of the need for and importance of foreign language study throughout the celebration of the week. Teachers in the district organized activities during the week with the purpose of making our students aware of the vital necessity for foreign language study. Some projects included newspaper articles, radio and television programs, foreign language films, the singing and playing of foreign songs, and more. This year there was also a poster contest with the current year's theme, Boost Your Brain with Languages, organized by several classes from both schools, and numerous students won the contest for their creativity and love for languages. For classroom item number 2, 3 Pascack Hills students of teacher Mrs. Heather Lutz were honored in the 13th annual Rose Tharing essay contest run by Seton Hall University. The students were invited to attend the Celebration of Education at Seton Hall University on Sunday, April 16th. The students are Casey McKay, honorable mention 12th grade, Jillian Fleischman, first place 11th grade, and Asiya Crandall, honorable mention 9th grade. Every year, the Sister Rose Tharing Fund offers a statewide writing competition for high school students in New Jersey who have viewed and discussed the award-winning documentary Sister Rose's Passion. This year's essay prompt was Genocide and Holocaust Education. Moving on to co-curricular items, for item number 1, per Mr. Whelan's kind request, I would like to report my acceptance into the NJMEA All-State Orchestra. As described on their website, the All-State Orchestra is made up of the top high school musicians in New Jersey, and auditions were held for students who participated in their corresponding region ensemble. For co-curricular item number 2, Pascack Hills hosted its annual Inter-District Choral Festival on March 9th in a continuation of the tradition of inviting choral groups from Woodcliff Lake and Fieldstone Middle Schools. The middle school's choir, as well as Pascack Hills Chamber, Concert, and unaccompanied minors performed their own selections. And for our last co-curricular item, on Monday, March 6th and Tuesday, March 7th, the Pascack Hills Model UN team competed in the St. Peter's University High School Model United Nations Conference. After spending 2 days competing against 359 students from 18 different schools, the Pascack Hills Model UN team returned with 4 awards. Congratulations to Ms. Yeem and the entire Pascack Hills Model UN team for winning the school award for outstanding delegation. And for athletic items number 1, congratulations to Emily Saylor, this year's recipient of the NJSIAA National Girls and Women in Sports Award. And for my joke of the day, why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he had no body to go with.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. And Isabella from Pascack Valley? We never got a reaction.
Hi, my name is Isabella Velez, and I will be giving the monthly report for Pascack Valley. For classroom items, item number 1 is the history clubs at Pascack Valley and Pascack Hills had Sally Frischberg, a Holocaust survivor, discuss her experience via Zoom with students in both buildings. It was an emotional and powerful presentation on the Holocaust and her personal struggles through it. Thank you, Mrs. Fishberg, for sharing your story. Classroom item number 2. PV freshman alto saxophonist Ming Young Chin won first chair and was accepted into the All North Jersey Junior Region Jazz Band, where he will perform with the band on Sunday, April 2nd, at Mount Olive Middle School. The Pascack Valley High School Jazz Band will perform at the Regional Jazz Concert at Lincoln Center, essentially Ellington Jazz Festival at Newark Academy on Saturday, April 15th. This festival features both local high schools, jazz ensembles, and groups from around the United States. Number 3. The Pascack Valley High School Tri-M Music Honor Society hosted a benefit concert on March 23rd. There were amazing singing and instrumental performances. The members of the society donating all proceeds to Save the Music, our nation's leading nonprofit foundation for music education. In addition, the Tri-M Music Honor Society performed a free concert for the residents at the Jewish home at Riverville. The residents truly enjoyed the performances and even joined in singing with the PV students. It was a blast for everyone to be part of this fulfilling event. Number 4. Congratulations to 5 PV students who are the recipients of this year's Cochia Foundation Italian Studies Student Award. The students are Abigail Comer, Jolie Copeland, Joseph Murata, Emma Treehart, and Amanda Varghese. These students were nominated by their Italian teacher, Signora Barbara Borghi, due to their commendable academic accomplishments in learning the Italian language. Congratulations to the students and to Signora Borghi. Number 5. PV celebrated National Foreign Languages Week 2 weeks ago. The school hosted many events with the purpose of making our students aware of this vital necessity for world language education. The poster contest focused on this year's theme, Boost Your Brain with Languages, and had many PV winners, Mesa Boomlaka, Chris Pampliega, and Caitlin Conway for French, Lydia Guerrero, Amelia Mitchell, and Lily Heller for Italian, and Caroline Veet, Anna Stern, Dante DaCosta, Ashley Diaz, Brendan Blatt, Sophia Varghese, Anthony Luciano, and Robbie Wasserman for Spanish. Congrats to all the winners. Next up is co-curricular items. For item number 1, the PV Harvester Club is helping a PV student with a project to collect first aid supplies. The collection box in the front lobby is in the front lobby through April 1st. Needed supplies include gloves, non-latex and individually packed, Neosporin, Band-Aids, gauze, cloth tape, and tweezers. Thank you to all who donated for this worthy cause. Number 2, members of the PV Network and peer leaders will be joining the Hillsdale Education Foundation at their annual Hike for Hillsdale on Saturday, April 15th from 10 to 1 at Sapienza Gardens. The students will be volunteering their time and services to help clean the trails and assist with setup and activities. They will also welcome many of the rescued animals from Teveland Sanctuary Farm that are joining in the day's festivities. Number 3, Pascack Valley DECA students competed in the New Jersey State competition in Atlantic City on February 28th. The students competed in a variety of business events for the competition. 8 students were recognized as finalists to the national competition in Orlando, Florida, including Mason Herzog and Robbie Wasserman for the financial services team decision making, Ellie Buchanan and Philip Cito for hospitality services team decision making, Amy Hoffman and Francesca Sinelli for integrated marketing campaign service, Alexis Ban and Maya Schlesinger for travel and tourism team decision making. Congratulations on making it to the DECA Nationals in April. Good luck in Florida. Number 4, the Executive Council hosted PV's annual blood drive on March 6th. This was the first time hosting the blood drive since March 2019 due to COVID-19 restrictions over the past several years. Prior to the COVID-19 restrictions, PV hosted the largest blood drive in North Jersey. We are extremely excited to have the drive back and look forward to building it back up to the largest in North Jersey once again. Thank you to all who donated blood for our local medical facilities. It was truly an exceptional day for Valley. Lastly, in honor of Read Across America Day, PV National Honor Society members walked over to Meadowbrook in order to read the elementary school students, talk about reading, give them bookmarks, and do some coloring pages and word searches with them in order to keep them excited about literacy. Now on to athletic items. Athletic item number 1. Congratulations to the following PV boys basketball players on earning these well-earned end-of-the-year awards. Christian Vargas for First Team All-Bergen County, and Jimmy Shea was named Bergen Record Athlete of the Week on March 3rd. Congratulations to Christian, Jimmy, and the entire team on a tremendous season. Number 2, congratulations to Pascack swimmer Jessica Malocha on being named the First Team All-Bergen County team. Jessica had a remarkable season, capped off with this remarkable honor. Congratulations to Jessica. Number 3, congratulations to PV girls basketball player Lindsay Jennings for being selected to the North-South New Jersey All-Star Game, to the All-Group 3 team, and First Team All-Bergen County. These recognitions acknowledge the amazing season Lindsay had with the team. Also, PV girls basketball was recognized as number 7 team in North Jersey and number 3 public school in Bergen County. Congratulations to Lindsay and the entire girls basketball team and coaches for these recognitions. On to fun facts. The Executive Council will host the Third Valley Cup competition during the week of March 27th. Each grade will compete against each other with various themed dress-up days, culminating in the Valley Cup Assembly on Friday, March 31st. Events at the Assembly include a performance by the PV Marching Band, a relay, a game of Hungry Hungry Hippos, and speedball. Good luck to all the grades in Valley Cup. And for my joke, what did the shark say when he ate the clownfish? This tastes a little funny.
Very, very good. You know, we hear these reports every couple of weeks, and I don't know, tonight for some reason it just stuck with me how well-rounded and the various things, you know, from foreign languages to business to sports to music at the two schools, and how our students are excelling. I know we hear it all the time, but for some reason tonight it really resonated. So congratulations to everybody, and thank you for updating us on those. Okay, we'll move to number 5 on the agenda, which is the minutes. We have 2 minutes from the March 13th meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Blundy,
Yes.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin, Mr. Stankus, Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Blundo.
Yes. So we are on to our student recognition, and we thank you all for coming out in this wonderful weather. It started as a spring day, but it's ending as a winter one. So Ms. Varghese and Ms. Velati will be handing the awards to all of you, and they're all well deserved. So the first team we're going to recognize is the Pascack Valley Regional Dance Team. Whereas the Pascack Valley Regional Dance Team competed at the 2023 Dance Team Union National Dance Championship in Orlando, Florida. In a field of over 170 from around the country, they competed in 3 different divisions with 3 different routines, and for the first time in 7 years, and placed as national champions in the small palm division, first place. The large team performance, 4th place. And the medium hip hop, 5th place. So we're gonna call all of the members up. We're gonna ask you to stay because Paul will get a picture. I apologize in advance if I misspeak some last names. Emma Brzozowski from PV. Sienna Bruno from Pascack Valley. Lisa DeGuys from Pascack Valley. Samantha Forrest from PV. Abigail Fox from PV. Zoe Grabow from Pascack Hills. Sophia Haig from Pascack Valley. Caitlin Johnson from Pascack Valley. Gia Macaluso from Pascack Valley. Jessica Moran from Pascack Valley. Olivia Matisich from Pascack Valley. Elira Mahia from Pascack Hills. Emma Nagler from Pascack Valley. Jolie Ross from Pascack Valley. And Madison Scroy from Pascack Valley. Our 2 coaches, Dina Noon, and Val DeSantis. What am I missing? Oh, I said her.
Joe, I'm just going to ask you to jump back up here
Okay, yep.
and do that
Yep,
one,
yep.
and then jump down.
They got it. I missed that. Yep. I know. Thank you. Okay. Great job to the dance team. We also had a National Merit Scholarship Program finalist, whereas Grace Jansen, a senior at Pascack Valley High School, is a finalist in the 2022-2023 National Merit Scholarship Program. Approximately 15,000 semifinals advanced to the finalist standing by submitting SAT scores that confirm the earlier PSAT NMSQT performance, having an outstanding academic record, and being endorsed and recommended by a high school official. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education recognize and commend Grace for her outstanding achievement. Is she here? She's not here. See, I knew what I was doing. Okay. That's fine. Next is the Bergen Record Athlete of the Week for March 3rd, 2023. Whereas Jimmy Shea, a senior at Pascack Valley High School, has been selected as the Bergen Record Athlete of the Week for boys basketball. Jimmy averaged 18 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists in a game, and leading the Panthers to the sectional semifinals. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education recognize and commend Jimmy for his outstanding achievement. Okay. We have 3 all-county players. First team, whereas the following students were selected to the first team all-Bergen County. For girls basketball, Lindsay Jennings. For boys basketball, Christian Vargas. And from girls swimming, Jessica Malacha. Now, therefore, it be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education recognize and commend Lindsay, Christian, and Jessica for their outstanding achievement. Okay, the NJSI, are they still taking pictures? Okay. I can't see them, that's it. All right, all right. Okay, congratulations. The NJSI AA National Girls and Women in Sports Award. Whereas Emily Saylor, a senior at Pascack Hills High School, and Tori Criscolo, a senior at Emily Pascack Hills High School, and Tori Criscolo, a senior at Pascack Valley High School, Each won the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association National Girls and Women in Sports Award. National Girls and Women in Sports Day, NJWSD, is an annual day of observance held during the first week of February to acknowledge the accomplishments of female athletes, recognize the influence of sports participation for women and girls, and honor the progress and continuing struggle for equality in women in sports. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Ed recognize and commend Emily and Tori for their outstanding achievement. Okay, thank you. New Jersey North won Group 2 State Sectional Cross Country Champions and Bergen County Cross Country Team of the Year. Whereas the following students from Pascack Valley High School won the North Jersey 1 Group 2 State Sectional Cross Country Championship and the Bergen County Cross Country Team of the Year. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education recognize and commend these students and their coaches for their outstanding achievements. Patrick Kurtz, Christopher Martino, Mark Monty, Aaron Ing, Connor Oates, Michael Pizzella, Jay Ramirez, Anthony Salio, coaches John Murtaugh, Russ Greer, and Brian Koch. Great job. And we have a Coach of the Year. Whereas Mr. John Murtaugh, coach, Pascack Valley Boys Cross Country Team Coach, has been named as Bergen County Boys Cross Country Coach of the Year. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education recognize and commend Mr. Murtaugh for his outstanding achievement. Okay, good. And we have a small one here. Bergen County Small School Team of the Year, Pascack Hills High School Wrestling. The team went 20-8 overall on the season and repeated as back-to-back Big North Patriot League champs. The team finished as the second overall public school in the county tournament and finished as the top-scoring public school in the region. The team ended up placing 6 wrestlers in the districts and 3 wrestlers in the region, and sent the most state qualifiers to Atlantic City since 1989. Overall, they had 8 different wrestlers receive either All-League, ranging from first team to honorable mention, or All-County awards, ranging from second team All-County to honorable mention. Therefore, be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education recognize and commend these students and their coaches for their outstanding achievement. Kyler Alexander. Alejandro Camarina. Gary Cooper. Sean Dallel. Aaron D'Alessandro. Matthew Daniels. Faraz Daragmay. Tyler Duffy. Nicholas Frangiosa. Christian Funk. Sean Herman. Nicholas Lula. Quinn Mercier. Hunter Morton. Hassan Shokat. Athen Stamus. Max Unger. Matthew Velez Intriago. Jake Waka. Cuthbert Shu. And the coaches, head coach Dave Bucko, assistant coaches Kevin Moran, Jim Freeman, Adam Shortcut, and Bruce Waka. And they all showed up, which is good. You know, most of them, that's good. That's the last one. So we are going to continue with business. I know you're very welcome and wanted to stay, but my guess is some folks want to beat this rain.
Well done.
Almost. Yeah, we made a couple little, we got through it. Much more organized. I like the setup she did.
Like,
yes.
Jill's on it. After that first time, she was like, never again.
Job, Jill. What happened?
Yeah, we have to go out. We have to go into the.
I think so. I think we're gonna sit down.
We're gonna have to go out
Oh.
there.
Let them go. You can go down now. I'm there. While the crowd is shuffling out, we are going to rearrange our seats as the board because we are going to have a presentation from the curriculum for math, computer science, science, and tech. And we're going to ask Dr. Backenheimer to come up first and introduce the program.
The screen's going to come down.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Happy to be here again. As you know, 2 weeks ago, we were happy to share updates from our humanities department from social studies and English and world language. And this evening, I'm happy to share updates from our STEM department, specifically from our math and our science and tech ed department. So here with me this evening are Dr. Russo and Ms. Graziano. Our goal this evening is to give you some updates on new courses, exciting things going on in departments, new initiatives, awards, presentations, lots of exciting things happening in our departments, and we're happy to take questions throughout. To start things off, I'm going to ask Dr. Russo to come up and talk about math and computer science.
Thank you, Dr. Backenheimer, and thank you to the board for having me tonight. The vision of the Pascack Valley Regional High School Mathematics Department is to facilitate the construction of meaningful mathematical knowledge and skills with the ultimate goal of promoting the personal and professional growth of each student. So I want to share just briefly some of the things we're doing in these three areas currently and some of the things we're working on in years to come. So in the area of meaningful mathematical knowledge and skills, while it's not particularly glamorous, we have been working very hard to try and equip students post-pandemic. Some students emerged through that challenge quite well, and others not so much. So in all of our classes, in all of our extra help sessions, we're doing what we can to try and get students to engage deeply with important mathematical concepts and skills. One of the ways we're doing that is with another year of the Math Center. So we're providing additional support and tutoring for students at both Hills and Valley. And it's been a great opportunity to provide students with additional time with teachers to help them get caught up with what they're learning. We're also working this year, as we did last year, on benchmarking. So we want to continually evaluate our programs and our different classes to get a sense on how students are doing as compared with the state standards, and make sure that we make those adjustments so that they can both meet and exceed what they're expected. And then what we're working on for next year is for students who are not already accelerated in middle school, we're going to make a scope and sequence adjustment and put geometry first. Now, we're very excited about this. I'm very excited about this because having geometry first, followed by Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, I feel will allow for more coherence from the Algebra 1 to the Algebra 2 course, and then into courses that follow. And secondly, 8th grade math contains quite a bit of algebra. It also contains geometry, and I believe that geometry first can help build on those things and then solidify and strengthen those pre-algebra skills that students need to be successful in Algebra 1 and beyond. In the bottom left, that's sort of how our students appear generally when they're in math class, with that level of excitement. So what we're working on, what we constantly work on, is connecting with students, engaging with students through collaboration, through discourse, and hopefully enjoyment of our courses. One of the ways that we think we can help do that and also help to support students for life after high school is by continually looking to infuse probability and statistics into our courses. These are concepts that students need for higher level math courses, yes, but they also need them just to be educated consumers and producers of information once they graduate high school, no matter what they want to do in life. So then hopefully they can, I guess, lie on a chalkboard like that and be super excited. In the bottom right, we have professional growth. So we're continuing, and we are always looking to align our courses with external standards. And we want students to be successful on any sort of assessment that they're going to take, whether it's NJSLA, whether it's the SATs, the ACTs, or AP exams. Something that we're working on that I'm very, very excited about is we're looking to pilot some new experiences and courses for students next year. Specifically, we're taking a look at AP Pre-Calculus and 4 additional dual enrollment opportunities. So currently, in the district, in the math and computer science departments, we have 4 AP courses, and we have 1 course where students can sign up for dual enrollment. And this serves a total of almost 300 students and 300 enrollments in these particular courses. With this pilot next year, with this expansion of an additional AP course and 4 additional dual enrollment opportunities, using this year's numbers as a guide, that would expand to approximately 650 students. So it would double the number of opportunities for students. And this is for students, yes, who excel and thrive in mathematics, but it's also for students who are taking that 4th-year math course and may want to get college credit because they want to take the next math course, or I don't want to say this out loud, but maybe they don't want to take that math course. We just want to try and give more opportunities to more students, and that's something that we're very excited to continue exploring and hopefully pilot for next year. And then just quickly a nod to the computer science department. In both of our buildings this year, we have been exposing students to some topics in cybersecurity, which is a great way to enhance their computer science and programming skills, but also gives them some experience in a very marketable and desirable field that they could potentially explore after they graduate. And just to close, our vision for the mathematics department, we believe that it empowers students to expand their professional opportunities, to understand and critique the world, and hopefully to experience wonder, joy, and beauty. And we believe that this applies for students who want to use math in college, students who maybe don't want to use math in college, but also students who want to join the military, students who want to enter a career. We believe that we're working to try and support all of these students. So thank you so much for your time and for your support. I don't know if there are any questions at this point. Sure. Yeah, so there have been more, I'll answer the second question and then the first. So Ridgewood was the first town in our area to launch a Geometry First initiative. They're a little bit different because they're a K-12, but Freehold followed and others sort of along those lines. I've been involved in conversations about Geometry First for many years now. There are certainly some logistical complications, including the state maybe taking a little bit longer to catch up. But I believe that for our students who are in 8th grade on level mathematics, we found year after year that the geometry course, this sort of geometry sandwich in between the two algebras, it's difficult because we want to sort of force that algebra 1 into geometry, and then it takes some time to get the algebra back after geometry to algebra 2. Now, in terms of the algebra that students need for geometry, most of what they need is pre-algebra. So math that they would have learned in 8th grade. There are some topics, I'm thinking specifically of equations of circles, that students learn in Algebra 1, but I'm confident that that switch can be made, and then when they're in Algebra 1, students can just apply what they've learned. It can be a great application problem for them, and we'll still get them ready for the state tests, as well as for the SATs and the ACTs. So I think this is going to support and help students, and we are certainly aware of making sure our students are prepared for all those assessments that they might have to take. Yeah, so yes, there's certainly algebra in geometry. The vast majority of it is pre-algebra. So is there a question that involves quadratic equations? Yes. Certainly around circles, but that's something that we're planning for. Of course.
I'm very happy that you're doing the Math Center. It's amazing, and I'm very happy you're doing it next year. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Dr. Russo. And Dr. Russo's being a little modest. He, in addition to teaching at Montclair State, is very active in both regional and statewide mathematic groups. And certainly he takes that knowledge that he receives from there and brings it back to our district. And he also has been involved on statewide level, helping to really shape some of the standards and assessments that our students are going through as well. So we sort of get a sneak peek into some of the things our students are going through, and he's able to apply that knowledge and bring it back to our department. So we thank him for being part of that. As I shared last time, our supervisors as a whole are really all involved in statewide associations. They're very well connected, and I think that just benefits our district in the big picture. So with that, I'm going to... I'm sorry?
Just a question about the geometry.
Yeah, of course.
So reference was made to Ridgewood, they're a K-12 district. So there's obviously better opportunity for them to work with their 8th graders and their curriculum because pre-algebra, as you referenced, is a necessary tool for geometry. So being as we're a regional district, what type of articulation will be happening for sending students
Sure.
with regard to this change?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Mr. Weaver. I'll just repeat it just for the YouTube. So the question was, Ridgewood, as a giant K-12, has that ability to really have some longitudinal work K through 12. What are we doing for regional articulation with our K-8 sending districts? And the answer to that is a lot. Both Dr. Russo and Ms. Merritt, who's our regional instruction and curriculum coordinator, have been working with our K-8 partners since this proposed change was brought up several years ago. We've been having meetings regarding math really throughout the last couple of years and working very closely with the curriculum directors from each of those 4 sending districts. So they are well aware of the changes. We've talked about it in terms of placement, what it means as far as readiness for students. And the real short answer is, for most students, as Dr. Russo mentioned, for students who are already accelerated, nothing changes as far as what happens with what's moving along. And for students who are not our accelerated students, they're going to move from what they're learning in 8th grade math to this experience and when they start at 9th grade. But we continue working with our sending districts, especially for what that looks like for middle school math, and having those discussions with them.
Do we have, I guess, measurable benchmarks in place to measure the success of the implementation of the program and, I guess, what will determine if it's a successful implementation?
Sure. So the question is, what's going to determine what benchmarks do we have in place to see if this is a success? Certainly, all of our departments have benchmarks that we've been put in place that we're now working through our second full year. And in mathematics, we use a variety of tests to see assessments, how students are doing kind of across. So we'll look at those particular benchmarks in each of the grades, as well as comparing that back to our standardized test scores. As you're aware, all 9th graders have to take math. All 11th graders have to take a graduation test. We have our SATs, our ACTs. We'll continue to look at all of these areas to see, are we seeing a positive change? We certainly wouldn't want to put this in place if we didn't think it was going to benefit our students. So it's our intention that hopefully it is going to help, and we'll monitor the process throughout.
Has
so I've been in conversation with supervisors in various, should I?
Yep, jump up. Yeah, just so we're on mic.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've been in conversation with supervisors from the various districts, I mean, not all of them, but with many of the districts that have made this change. It's all happened fairly recently, so the verdict is still out as to whether there's an obvious increase, decrease, whether it stays the same. I mean, informal data is positive, but again, I don't want to sort of make a claim based on that. But these conversations continue to happen at multiple levels about how everyone's experience is different, similar, how we can learn from each other. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Stankus. Yeah. Right. Yep. And yes.
We've talked about the state. Is this a trend that's going on through the nation?
So the nation, I don't know. There are more schools in New Jersey doing this, but honestly, it is the minority. As Dr. Backenheimer mentioned, I was having conversations this summer as the math standards were getting revised. And at least our state coordinator is aware that sometimes our state tests, while allowing for local control, make a suggestion just based on how they're framed. And she at least seemed open to the idea that maybe we need to be a little bit more sympathetic to that there are different ways to get where we want to go. In terms of whether it's happening nationally, I know there's certainly an integrated movement, which is not something we felt comfortable doing. But looking at the totality of the evidence, knowing where we want students to be, knowing the group of students that this is going to serve, and knowing our incredibly talented teaching staff, I'm confident, though we will monitor, I'm confident that this will be a positive change for our students. Thank you. Sure. Correct. And I don't want to short shrift geometry, that's not my intention, but I would argue that Algebra 1 is the most foundational high school course for students. The SAT has recently been redesigned to focus more on algebra and less on geometry. So putting algebra in a position where we believe that students can be the most successful and then can carry on what they've learned into their subsequent course, I think that's one of the strongest arguments for this change, and I'm hoping that we see this reflected in students' performance on assessments like the SAT. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, right.
All right, so switching on, as I mentioned earlier about how our supervisors are involved in many state associations, though it's just her first year with us, Ms. Graziano is very involved, again, in both regional and state organizations, and really giving her department time to reflect into science standards and how those science standards look when it comes to innovative teaching in our classroom. So I'm going to ask Ms. Graziano to come up and talk about some of the things going on in the science department.
Thank you, Dr. Backenheimer, and thank you to the board for having me here tonight. The Science and Tech Ed department has been very, very busy throughout this school year, and I'm very excited to be able to share with you some of the exciting things that are taking place within the classrooms and within our departments as a team. So one of the things that I want to point out is that many of our teachers are involved beyond the classroom within their practices, and they make it a point to get involved in their organizations and to present at statewide and nationwide workshops. And so just recently we had several teachers, 3 of our science teachers presented at the NSTA conference just last week. We had a teacher presenting at the New Jersey Science Convention, and tomorrow we actually have one of our tech ed teachers presenting at a Women in Leadership Conference for NJSPA, which is very exciting. Now, our major departmental goal for the science department specifically is that we're focusing in on the science and engineering practices, really focusing on getting our students to think like scientists. Dr. Russo kept mentioning several of the goals of the math department, and I think within our science department, our goal is to get students to be problem solvers and to think critically. So we're trying to shift away from a focus on the content and really focus on developing the skills, using that content more as a vehicle for developing those skills. So in order to do that, we have been spending time doing some vertical articulation across not only the 9 through 12 grade bands, but also we've had a chance to work with our 8th grade and some of our middle school teachers as well to develop what we call a progression of skills chart, where we're looking at the science and engineering practices and developing specific goals that we want students to achieve year after year within those practices. This allows us to reflect on our instruction and talk about the types of lessons that we're designing to make sure that we are not only introducing these skills, but then reinforcing them and then building upon them after we've developed a strong foundation. I'd also like to point out that we have some new tools and resources that we have been incorporating into our classes. The teachers have been using new veneer data collection probes and graphic analysis programming, which allows our students to collect and visualize and then analyze data in a much more precise manner. So that's been really exciting to see the use of that in the classrooms. Here at PV, we just upgraded to a new Stratus 3D printer, and over at Hills, that should be getting upgraded over the summer as well, really taking our tech ed department to the next level when it comes to what students are able to create in their engineering courses. And Dr. Backenheimer last week discussed a podcasting grant that several of our teachers were awarded, and 2 of the teachers within the science department were awarded podcasting grants and are already using that within their classes and having their students create really exciting presentations to delve deeper into their content areas. Lots of our teachers are bringing in guest speakers to help connect the real world to the content that they're teaching about in their courses. So as you can see here, we have brought in or are bringing in nuclear engineers into our chemistry classes. We have an Amazon software development engineer who's going to be speaking to the engineering and design students. A dental student will be coming to talk about his experience in dental school to anatomy and physiology. A scientific software developer is going to be speaking to the Data Science League, and we even had an Egyptologist come to our architecture and design class to talk about the structure of the pyramids. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this weekend was a big weekend for our science students because we had the North Jersey STEM Science Fair. And as you can see, we had 11 projects that were selected to compete. And we had several students, including one of our student reps here, who was very successful, winning first and second place in animal science, first and second place in environmental science, second place in pharmacological computation, fourth place in chemistry. One of our groups was also awarded the Keene University IST Biotech Club Award, and Dr. Healy was actually awarded the Partners in Science Teacher Award as well, all from our research and molecular genetics courses. So a lot of pride there. And again, that's Olivia who won the first place in environmental, so congratulations. Yes. And we will be putting, obviously, all of these students in for recognition at a future board meeting. Just a couple of additional highlights I wanted to mention as well. Over at PH, we have, the Science League has actually evolved into the Data Science League, where I'm going to read a little explanation here of what this is because it's very impressive. Natalie Mack and Jay Ewell, so a science teacher and a computer science teacher, have come together and collaborated to redefine the Science League Student Club at Pascack Hills to offer Data Science League, where students are meeting weekly after school to learn the coding in Python. And then they're learning how to use this coding to analyze data science and predict outcomes on large data sets using things like NASA data. as a computational tool and model. So it's a wonderful example of how students are bringing together the computer science, the math skills, and the science itself to look more closely at the data analysis section. Just another example of how we're bringing in that focus on the science and engineering practices. And one last small shout out, our Pascack Valley Teacher of the Year, Mr. Sherman, and his students are currently working on the development of the 100th episode of PVTV, where they're planning on bringing back lots and lots of alumni, and we're really excited to see what they're going to be coming up with for that. So we have a lot of great things going ahead in the future, and lots of wonderful things to celebrate. Does anybody have any questions? No? Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Russo, and thank you, Ms. Graziano. Just as one more quick update, so Ms. Bellotti and I leveraged our relationship with Apple Computer, as you know, who we've had a long-standing relationship with in terms of the MacBooks that our staff and students use. This week on Wednesday, Apple is bringing in several of their network engineers and professionals to run a full-day workshop for our staff in the morning on accessibilities, designing accessibility tools for all learners and our special ed department. And in the afternoon, as you know, this year we started implementing giving all of our teachers an iPad in addition to their laptop to use for a variety of things in their classrooms, mostly for annotations with projections, but now we're going to learn some additional ways that teachers can use that tool in their classroom to enhance education for their students. So we're excited for this opportunity, and hopefully then we will see even greater tech integration into our classroom. Questions on that or anything else from this evening? All right, well, thank you very much.
As you're coming back up, I want to just add to that to give Mr. Zeller and Dr. Backenheimer some credit here. So Dr. Backenheimer and I were invited to participate in a national panel with Apple for Schools. I think there were about 5 schools that were invited to participate. And the reason that we were invited is because we really are on the forefront of using technology for our students. Obviously, we have one of the longest standing one-to-one device histories, not only in the state but nationally, but we also just continue to improve and continue to put technology in the hands of our teachers and of our students for them to be able to leverage that to enhance our learning. And as we were sitting at this national roundtable, Dr. Backenheimer actually leaned over and said, we're going to leverage this into something. So he reached out to Apple and said, hey, you're noting to us that we are on the cutting edge of using technology in schools, but what else can we do and how else can we push forward? And is there anything else on the cutting edge that's new and upcoming that you could come in and teach our teachers? And so he's opened up these workshops to the region and set up one in the morning for all of the new accessibility features that have come out in the last month or so, really, for Apple products, including iPads and MacBooks, and then one in the afternoon about how to reach all learners. So thank you to Dr. Backenheimer and Mr. Zeller for continuing to push us forward with technology. It's impressive, and it puts it in the hands of our kids and helps us all learn. And thank you to Dr. Russo and Ms. Graziano for continuing to highlight all of the great work that our students and teachers are doing to stay on the forefront of curriculum and instruction and designing that curriculum to best meet the needs of our kids. So thank you so much to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Fantastic. Okay. We have our first comments from the public, but there is no public here. But I guess our employees could decide they want to speak as a public. So I'll open to the public. Seeing no hands, I'm going to close to the public. And our next item is that we have 3 policy agenda items. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Blundy,
Yes.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Blundo.
Yes. For education, we have 4 items. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Dr. Blundy,
Yes.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Blundo.
Yes. Human Resources, looks like we have 8 items. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Dr. Blundy,
Yes.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Blundo.
Yes. Okay, under Finance, we have 11 agenda items. Is there a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Dr. Blundy,
Yes.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Blundo.
Yes. Got a lot of paper in between here. Okay. That's still. Okay. All right, do we have any old business?
So I just wanted, add one comment on the agenda for tonight and the presentation of awards that I felt was probably more appropriate for this segment than when our athletes were here. So specifically for our female athletes, you know, we recognize the first team all-county, the dance team. The coverage of female sports this past year by the Bergen Record was nothing short of awful. You know, I'm involved with running the girls' basketball tournament, and it's been a conversation among athletic directors and coaches. And I think at one point in the year, by the end of January, there were 9 articles posted on football off-season to 1 article on girls' basketball, with very little coverage of anything else. And so, you know, we give them our money for advertising. They're not meeting the expectation for covering girls' sports. And I'm happy that we can recognize our athletes here tonight, and the all-county athletes will be recognized on Wednesday night as well by the Bergen County Women's Coaches Association. The second thing is the NJSIAA National Girls and Women in Sport Award. So like going back to 2006, 2007, I coached girls basketball at Park Ridge, and I was fortunate to go to Seton Hall for that day's event where they brought all girls from across the state together. And it was really a phenomenal luncheon with presenters and speakers. This year's presentation was for the recipients to attend a game at Seton Hall, women's basketball, and be presented at halftime. 2 days before the event, all of the recipients were told that there were no tickets for them and that the event was canceled.
Wow.
And they got 4 tickets for next year's event. So when the NJSIAA says recognize influence of sports participation for women and girls and honor the progress and continuing struggle for equality for women in sports, like NJSIAA needs to do a better job, because they fell on their face with the award that they presented and the reasons for presenting it. And it's unfortunate. And you know, who's going to do something about it, right? Because it just continues. So, I would like us to consider as a board, like, maybe contacting NJSIAA, maybe making sure we're contacting the record to ask those questions, because really nobody else is. And until somebody else does, nothing changes, right? So that's my 2 cents and my soapbox for tonight.
Mike, I think it's a valid point, and I wonder if the athletic directors might reach out to the other schools in the area, and if there seems to be the same sentiment, which I kind of feel there probably will be, maybe the schools in our area can all have motions and letters sent to the organization and to the record to express the concerns that Mike's brought up here today. Unless anybody disagrees, I'd like to ask the superintendent to take that action. Everybody's good? Okay. So, I mean, sending a letter from us, great. Passing a resolution from us, great. But if we can speak with numbers, I think we'll get more of attention. Thanks, Mike. Any other old business? Any new business?
Yeah, I want to say I went to 2 shows in Chicago and Mamma Mia, and I just want to congratulate everybody involved. They were stupendous. I was really proud of the entire, everything from start to finish. They were both beautiful performances. Chicago and Mamma Mia, great job to everybody involved.
Great.
Students did a great job.
Any other new comments? Sorry, I was just going to ask, and I should have done it before we voted, but on the travel, I think there's 4 trips. Are any of those trips that maybe we would be interested in where everyone's going, or are these just like I used my vehicle for school business?
Oh, no, they're actually, yeah.
So I think
That's a great question. Give me 1 second.
while you're looking up, in the past we used to get a snippet in the agenda, so where everyone was going. I think it's important for us to know, not to judge whether it's a valid thing, although that's part of it, but to see the great things that are going on in the district that we might not otherwise be.
The professional travel, yeah.
Yeah. Is there? Okay, I missed it. All right, I did.
I can touch on it though, because actually Ms. Graziano mentioned this briefly. We actually have a number of staff who present at national and state conferences, and it is extremely impressive. Tomorrow, in fact, Ms. Graziano and a team of both admin, teachers, and I believe students were involved in this as well, though they're not attending, are presenting at the State Women in Leadership Conference tomorrow down at Somerset County. And we have, I want to look at the list because I'm going to forget them. Hold on 1 second. We have a number of admin and teachers going to really cool things.
We should call them out at the meeting because not everybody gets the hyperlink.
Yeah.
And I missed it, so.
I can
think it just
definitely.
Right. So I think it demonstrates, some of the great things that we're doing that are allowing us to stay as a leading institution or high school. So
Absolutely.
I'd just like to maybe a blurb when we do these things, just, to attend the Women in Leadership, to attend the National Math, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, it is impressive. And we have, we are one of the founding districts of something called the League of Innovative Schools, which is a national program. We were one of the first, I believe, 20 schools to be invited. You had to be invited then to participate in this national program. It's put on by the U.S. Education Department, and they host 2 national kind of meetups. They call them convenings, but they really are conferences for best practice. Dr. Russo and Dr. Backenheimer and I went in the fall, and there was actually a conversation about the math geometry first at that level. So I think a lot of times, too, some of the conferences that we participate in, and there's one, I believe that's why I'm on here, is to go to the spring convening for the League of Innovative Schools. Some of the conversations that we're having, as you alluded to, at the national level, more so than at the state level. And specifically, some of the organizations that we're in, you have to meet certain assessment and criteria metrics before you can participate. So they really are looking for districts that are moving forward, strong curriculum, demonstrated student growth and student progress. And it's impressive that we are continuously invited to participate in those things. So thank you for asking that. I appreciate that.
Excellent. Any other new business? Okay. We still don't have any public here unless any of our three district employees have anything to add. So I will close to the public. And I think we're at adjournment. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second? Okay, by acclamation. Good night.